The good with annuities has to do with simply choosing the right type of annuities first. Well, welcome back to our series on annuities. So far, we've gone over the ugly, the not so ugly aspects of annuities, but we haven't really gone over the more popular aspects of annuities. And so now it's time for what? The good, because there are actually a lot of good qualities in annuities. I feel like if you have the right type of annuity, then the right annuity could be a great asset for your retirement. Dr. Wade Pfau is a professor that works at the American College of Financial Services, and he operates from an academic standpoint, which means he doesn't sell anything. And he has said that the most efficient portfolio for retirees consists of both stocks and income annuities. I also interviewed him on my podcast, and a link to that episode is in the description. So now, on to the good aspects of annuities. Once again, let me go ahead and share my screen here, and we'll jump right in. All right. And so if we move on to the good side of annuities now, we started talking about that fact, the fact that last year alone, people in this country put over $240 billion into these things, right? So if they did that, they can't exactly be lemons. So let's talk about it. The first thing we need to make clear is the good with annuities has to do with simply choosing the right type of annuities first to accomplish those things. It kind of stands to reason that if you think about it, someone telling you that all medicines are good wouldn't be accurate, because all medicines aren't inherently good for you. It depends on what you're using them to treat, right? It's very simpler with annuities or any other financial vehicles. You have to make sure you're looking at the specifics just before you just toss in the blanket, right? And call it good or bad over the entire category. But if you choose the right type of annuity, they can be great. They can be principal protected or risk protected way to grow money for retirement. So there you go. These are some of the goods, right? Complete principal protection, opportunity for good earnings, decent fees that are out there, all of those, right? So you have to have the chance to earn decent interest on your money and opportunity to have little fees. I think my face is covering up some of that, right? So we don't want fees that range from 3.8 to 6.41%, right? Tom and Linda paid over $130,000 over 7 years. Fees add up, right? So whether you're paying them on variable annuities, mutual funds, or any type of investment, they do. And with the right choice of the right type of annuity for a portion of your retirement savings, you can minimize or bypass them even altogether, right? And so let's talk about two particular types of annuities here for a minute. We've already talked about variable and some of the drawbacks there. And one of the other main downsides to some variable annuities is that your principal or your initial money put into the product can vary. That's why it's called variable. They just mean that they can go up and down. That's what that means. Some variable annuities allow you to purchase guaranteed riders at an additional cost, so they can put a floor on the product, right, to help you from loss. But those obviously come at even more cost, which, as we've already covered, is often the last thing that you need in a variable annuity. But let's talk about two others: fixed and fixed indexed annuities. Now, when you hear the word fixed in relation to an annuity, the word fixed means that your principal is protected, or it's insured, or it's guaranteed by the claims paying ability of the insurance company who issues the annuity. In other words, as long as you play by the rules of the contract and you don't surrender the policy prior to its term, then you're guaranteed not to lose a dime, not a dime. And that's fair, right? I mean, if you think of an annuity as an apple pie, some of you here can likely make a legendary apple pie, right? And when you get done putting all these ingredients into the crust, what do you have to do to make sure it turns out incredible? Yeah, you got to bake it, right? And if you don't let it bake long enough and you reach your hands into that oven to grab it, two things are going to happen. One, you're going to get burned, right? And two, the pie is not going to taste right. Yeah, am I wrong? I mean, so the same is true with annuities. They're designed for the dessert of your life, your retirement years, and they're not meant as some 2 or 3 year CD or some money market account like in your 30s or 40s. They were originally designed to grow money for retirement. In order for that apple pie to taste right, you simply have to leave it in the oven as long as the recipe calls for, right? And so that way that you don't get burned by what some insurance company calls surrender charges. And the annuity can do what it was ultimately designed to do, right? So I hope everybody's with me on that. Okay, so fixed means you can't lose a dime as long as you let that pie bake, but the traditional fixed annuities, pretty simple products, really. Traditional fixed annuities, being as simple as they are, really think of it like this. It's a kind of a CD, right? The guaranteed interest is usually, say, 3.5%, 3%. It's for a set number of years, a fixed rate for a fixed number of years, just like a CD, right? And so you'll also sometimes hear these products called MIGAs, multi-year guarantee annuities, because they're guaranteed a fixed rate for multiple years, right? Traditional fixed annuities are about as straightforward and about as plain Jane as they come, really. You put your money in, the insurance company contractually guarantees you X% for X number of years. That's it, right? So that's pretty darn simple to figure out. Next, we've got an FIA. So it's not a traditional fixed annuity. It starts off with fixed, but it's fixed indexed. Some of you may have heard that term before. And so remember, when you have the word fixed in the title, what does it mean? It means you're protected with your principal as long as you let the apple pie bake, right? A fixed index annuity, or some people call it an FIA, does something a little different to give you a little more interest earning potential. So the money you put into an FIA does not go into the market, but it's linked to market performance, some type of market index performance. So now you've all heard of several of the well-known market indices like the S&P 500, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, the Russell Index. One of the easiest ways to think of a market index is to think of it like a heart monitor. It measures the stock market and helps investors compare current prices with past prices to determine how the market's performing. Sometimes the market's hot and that heartbeat monitor is on an uptick. Sometimes it's cool or cold and you see the heartbeats drop, right? But with an FIA, the money is linked, not invested directly into a given index. And when the market index goes up, well, you as the FIA owner get to participate in a portion of those interest earnings according to the participation rate. And if there's capped earnings, whatever, right? And so say the index annuity you own allows full participation and a cap of 50%. And that index performs at 20% in a given year. What level of interest would you receive? So you're capped at 50% of the return. So you'd be credited with 10% for the year. Not bad. Market went up 20, you got 10. Not a bad year. You can see where many people might be interested in that type of potential rather than locking their money up in just the traditional fixed annuity or the MIGA that might only be in the ballpark of, say, 3.5%, right? And so, but where many people feel the real appeal of these FIAs come into play is in the down years. So take, for example, what happened in March of 2020, right? The crash began Monday, March 9th with the largest one-day point plunge in the Dow ever up to that date, right? And it was followed by two more record-setting drops. The crash included the actually the three worst single-day point drops in history. And in instances like that, or in even 2008, when many lost 30 to 40% of the retirement savings, right, in that market, that's where a fixed index annuity really comes through, right? Because, I mean, you look what happened here. The market's up. We just said that you didn't get to pocket all of the interest, right? Which seems like a bummer until you realize that's simply the price that you pay to ensure that you still have your principal in the down year. You never lose a dime in years which your market index drops, and recent years have shown us it could drop significantly. So while others are invested directly in the market, they might be losing 20, 30, 40% or even more of their retirement savings. But because you are in a fixed index annuity that guarantees your principal protection, you simply remain flat for the year, earning 0% interest, but never seeing a negative on your statement. That's how a fixed index annuity really works.
So pretty cool, right? Now, I know that was a lot to take in. So next week, I'm going to give an analogy that I think everyone would understand on how to look at and understand on a simple scale how a fixed index annuity grows. And as always, if you want more confidence in your retirement, go ahead and hit that notification bell. Smash the subscribe button first. I always get that mixed up. It's like, which one are we going to do first? I think we smash the subscribe button first all the time, and then we hit the notification bell. That way you can always be updated on new information. We put this out every single week, and we also have another YouTube channel for our podcast, Retirement Rescue Radio, where we go into a lot of these topics, a lot more long format, maybe a little more detailed for those of you that like that format, because we're always just trying to bring content to empower you to live the retirement you deserve. And as always, thanks for listening. Tune in next week. Take care.